Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's celebration of service for April 19th, 2022 for the Bloomington Rotary Club. Our club is to be a diverse and engaged community of leaders whose fellowship and service have a significant positive impact, both locally and globally. We're a part of 1.4 million Rotarians throughout the world. Now, a note about standing. For those of us here in the IMU, most of us are standing here in person. I have to stand. You, on the other hand, have a choice. When I ring the bell, that's just a sign that the meeting is starting. So standing is optional. You're welcome to stand if you want to. I like it. I like it. They've all sat down. Okay, you may all be seated. And now I'd like to ask John Vanderzee to come and give us today's reflection. Thank you for being so cooperative.
You okay?
We are good.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Most of you are aware that this past week, Christians observed Holy Week and Jews celebrated the eve of Pesach, commonly known as Passover, and Muslims around the world marked their holiest season, Ramadan, which began April 2 and ends May 2nd. It was difficult to choose a reflection that was particular to all three faiths. Finally, I came upon an old faithful, Wendell Berry's Manifesto, a Mad Farmer's Liberation Front. I know it doesn't sound quite appropriate, but just trust me. It was written decades ago, so I trimmed a few parts about patriotism and about women that might be misunderstood today. If you're curious about those elements of the poem, you can look it up and read the whole thing. The spirit of the poem, I think, remains intact here. Love the quick profits, the annual raise, vacation with pay, want more of everything ready-made, be afraid to know your neighbors and to die, and you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they will call you. When they want you to die for profit, they will let you know. So, friends, instead, every day do something that won't compute. Love God, love the world, work for nothing, take all that you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered, he has not destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant, that you will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they are rotted into mold. Call that profit. Prophesy such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of humus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to the carry-on. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of the songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. Go with your love to the fields. Lie down in the shade. Rest your head in their lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest your thoughts. And this, as soon as the generals and the politicals can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection.
Thank you, John. It's terrific. We have several guests here in the Frangipani room today. Vivian Bridges is a guest of Jim Bright. We do ask you to stand when you're announced as a guest or a visiting Rotarian. Clara Stanley, visiting from Brown County Rotary, is also a guest. And Marilyn Wood, our speaker today and fellow Rotarian, has brought two guests, Greer Carson and Patsy Ron from the library. Okay. Joy, do we have any guests on Zoom today?
Why, yes, Sally, we do. I am happy to have as my guest Bethany Morley, who is new to her work at Meadowood Retirement Community, and she's in charge of external business development. So, oh, and Bethany, you don't have to stand, but we will just welcome you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joy, and welcome to everybody on Zoom. I want to thank our tech team back in business this week, producers Michael Shermis and Alam Barker, our Zoom host, Joy Harder, and big shout out to Liz Feidel, whom I tagged to be the greeter when I saw her arriving early today. Thank you, Liz. We do need people to sign up to be greeters and reflectors and introducers of guests. So please do that. The roundabout reporter for this month is Aaron Brewington, and thanks again to John Vanderzee for our reflection. Birthdays this month, April birthdays this week. Peggy Frisbee, our Rotary Foundation Chair, April 21st. Mike Baker, past president, April 23rd. And Connie Chikalis, April 23rd. Happy birthday to all of you. You're lucky we're not singing you happy birthday. So I've got a couple of announcements, and then I'm going to invite our Community Service Chair, Sarah Laughlin, to make a really special announcement to the club. First of all, I want to tell you that the Board of Directors is meeting this Thursday. We always meet whatever this is, third Thursday of the month. But for the first time in over 2 years, since the before times, we're meeting in person here at the IMU. So we're really excited about that. And I also want to talk to you about our upcoming partnership with the Palo Alto, California Rotary Clubs. So for several months, Alam Barker and Gabe Coleman from Bloomington North have been meeting regularly on Zoom with leadership from 2 Rotary clubs in Palo Alto, California, as part of our 2 cities sibling city partnership. And I'm thrilled to announce that 4 members of those 2 Palo Alto clubs will be coming to Bloomington on May 26th through May 29th. On Friday, the 27th, we're going to be meeting with some city and community leaders at City Hall and elsewhere. And on Saturday, May 28th, we're going to throw a picnic for them at Winslow Woods Park, and everyone's invited. So May 28th, around 5 p.m., it's a Saturday. It is Memorial Day weekend. It is the Indy 500 day. You're all invited, so stay tuned for details about that. And that's it, except for Sarah.
Well, I was really happy to remember that Sally has been saying our vision statement at the beginning of every club meeting, but I just want to read it to you one more time, so think about this a minute. Our vision is to be a diverse, engaged community of leaders whose fellowship and service have a significant positive impact locally and globally. All right, you've got that, right? You've got that tattoo, and you can memorize. If I wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can say that to me. Well, we have a stunning opportunity right now to work toward our vision in a larger, more sustained way with both local and global impact. And I want to share the details with you today and ask for your help. The Community Service Committee has been working for the last few months with Exodus Refugee Resettlement Services. We began when we learned that 7,000 or so Afghan refugees were arriving at Camp Atterbury, many of them with just the clothes on their backs. Dave Meyer approached our committee to see if our club would be interested in co-sponsoring a family as his church was doing. And so we learned from him. And with his help and experience, we contacted Exodus Refugee Services, then based in Indianapolis, actually still based in Indianapolis. Took a little while with our schedules, busy schedules, and their busy schedules and the holidays. But when we finally met on Zoom, they shared the expectations of a co-sponsor. And they told us that we needed to find 10 things on their list that we could commit to. Well, so we met to consider the list of activities, and our goal at that meeting was to look at the list and if we could find 10 things that we could help with, and also could we identify people to help to be in charge of each of those activities. And to our great and glorious surprise, we identified 19, which really confirmed for us that we were on the right track and we were the right group to take on this job. And we identified specific people and organizations who could help us with most of them. Meanwhile, the Bloomington Rotary Foundation, flush with TOAST money, agreed to allocate $5,000 from our TOAST balance to support the initiative. Something that's very hard for many organizations is to come up with that matching money, but because we've had such successful TOAST, we had it in the bank and it was easy for us to decide to do that. So the other thing is, from the beginning, this initiative has attracted people to Rotary. Habitat and its Restore, who agreed to furnish an apartment. My Sister's Closet, who can take care of clothing for all the women involved. Bloomington North Rotary, whose president is a former refugee resettlement volunteer. Rotaract, this year's Global Grant Scholar, also involved in refugee activities before, and a number of others have come forward to share their experience and expertise with us and to tell us they would like to help. For me, that's what Rotary is all about, right? Putting our flag up and taking the lead and being there for other people to jump on board. So now I hope you will also step up to assist. On your table is the list of activities to which we committed, those 19. Plus, number 20 is that we especially need a few more people to serve on the steering committee with Dave Meyer, Cindy Neidhart, Ashley Wesley, Beth Savage, and me. We're especially interested in men. Please take a look and let me know which of these activities you can help with. You can either put your name down and your email and phone number on that piece of paper, or you can email or call me if you want more information. With your help as that diverse, engaged community of leaders that we aspire to be, Bloomington Rotary can make a significant positive impact locally and globally this year. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you so much for that and for your leadership of the Community Service Committee. This is really all about service above self. And I'm looking forward to seeing what transpires with this new and impactful project that we're going to be taking on. With that, it's time for Charlotte Zitlow to introduce today's speaker.
I'm sitting, but I will stand if you insist.
No.
It'll take me 5 minutes. Yes, dear. In my former life, one of my former lives, I was on the Monroe County Public Library, Friends of the Library Board. Worked forever for 16 years. I served on that. Due to a number of directors at the library. I've always been a very big fan of Monroe County Public Library. It was a wonderful place for my children and for me, and it does so many things other than books, although it does a lot of books. And it's been a recipient in one of my other former lives of boxes and boxes and boxes of wonderful books that I was going to read. sometime. Anyway, the library is there now and has been in wonderful hands over the period of time. Since I lost the board of friends. Sarah Lawson, who you just heard of, speak, but had the wisdom to hire somebody as her assistant about 10 years ago. Who she brought from Harvard, from the Harvard libraries, where she worked on internet library loans and other things. Very, very well, and was moving back to Monroe County, which is Indiana, and applied for the job as associate director. And Sarah had this smart, very cleverness to hire her then, and brought her. And as when Sarah retired, the board had the wisdom to hire Marilyn Wood. And Marilyn has been the head of the library over the last 7 years. She's done something in 7 years. It took years and years to happen before her. She developed and initiated and broke the ground for a library branch, which she's going to tell us about today. Marilyn is a wonderful person, then. She's going to retire at the end of this month. And she is going to do something wonderful. She bought a convertible that she can drive away in. That was good, yeah. I told you I'd find this. Okay. That was the soonest. That's all. That's the only secret I'll mention. In any case, Marilyn is going to leave behind a legacy which 7 years should not provide, but it does. She's leaving us a big legacy, a wonderful new branch of the library down southwest of where we are now. To get that all done and ready, and the ground moved, and the plans made, and the discussion about parking behind. Because when the current library was built, and when it was retained its original place in the 90s, after much discussion, and saying you can't leave the library downtown, there's no parking. Well, there's still a library downtown, there's still no parking. But good news, the new library will have parking. But it will not have the ongoing leadership of Maryland. But it will have the leadership sitting at the next table, even so sitting as well as me. So I will let Marilyn speak now. Marilyn Wood.
Thank you, Charlotte. You did a great job on that one. So I know I'm a familiar face, and so many of you have heard me passionately talk about the library in the past, and lo and behold, I'm going to do it again. We'll hear a little bit more today about how you can connect to the future in your new library. So it's my pleasure to be here today to talk with you about the new Southwest Branch Library, and to talk a little bit about how it will enhance our community and bring delightful new opportunities to read, learn, connect, and create. So planning for our new branch began decades ago, and the community support for a new library has been very strong for many years. And by way of a short background, before we get into the moving forward part, I'll share with you some of our planning trajectory. So back in 2003, the library stated a goal, and that was to position the library to build a new branch by 2007. That was a 19-year-old. So fast forward to 2013, where through focus groups and another strategic planning effort, a new goal was created, and that one was to plan and secure funding and a site for a new facility to provide convenient access to our growing community. But unfortunately, as is often the case, there were other competing priorities for funding and staffing resources, and that didn't come to fruition. But it certainly wasn't forgotten, and interest in a new library has remained very strong. So in 2018, and this was during another strategic planning process, we dug deeper and we really wanted to find out exactly what it was the community wanted. There was no doubt that the community our size could use another branch. And while our library service locations had remained the same, we weren't sure if it was a new branch that people were interested in, or if it was a future where there were opportunities to receive books in new ways, or new book, so to speak. All of those things were on the table and we asked those questions. But the feedback that we got was very clear. And it was the community wanted a new branch. They wanted a place to gather, a destination, a place to go because you liked being there, a place to learn, to participate in programs, to hold meetings, to meet friends. And then in addition to that, of course, the traditional services that we do so well in terms of offering opportunities for Monroe County to grow. So that was 2018, and we took that as our marching papers. The real question then was, how do we do it? How much does it cost? Where will we put it? What will be inside it? How big does it need to be? All of those things that were in the back of our heads. So in 2018, 4 years ago, we launched a feasibility study. And through scheduled community conversations with many people, as well as more than 800 responses to a survey, we sought input on services, location, amenities, and aspirations that the community had for a new branch. And the new branch that we're talking about now is, as Charlotte said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So we took that feedback, we translated it into services, space needs, land requirements, staffing requirements, operational costs, and many other pieces that would then dictate what type of building we needed. And in February 2019, we hired Matthew Architects, and they presented a branch planning study to our Library Board of Trustees, which really wrapped up that community feedback and our research, and presented the plan for what a library could look like. That plan was unanimously approved by the Board of Trustees, and we started talking with real estate agents right away. And in the summer of 2019, we then hired Matthew Architects to design the branch. So simultaneously, this work was going on behind the scenes before we had a place to put it. So in fall of 2019, we identified a potential site. We began discussions with the landowner, and we also identified what our budget, our estimates would be, and potential funding options for our consideration for construction. So as budgets go, our overall goal throughout this process was that we planned for years in advance so that we knew we would be able to cover our operational costs without any diminishing returns from the two branches that already existed. We would have no impact on them, and we would also have, as a goal, no impact on tax rates. And that I'm happy to say we've been successful on both those goals. In March of 2020, came to an agreement, and we purchased a approximately 5 acre site that's on the corner, the southwest corner of the Bachelor Middle School property at 900 West Gordon Pike. In summer of 2020, we began development of all of the site construction plans, excuse me.
Let me just do this real quick so they can see what you're talking about. Sorry.
Thank you. So we went through all of those things that that are underneath the ground and behind the scenes. So we did subdivision plans, property reporting, and all the things that go along with that. And again, simultaneously, we were working on a building design, we were securing funding, and all the many activities behind the scenes. And I'm also pleased to say that we were also very fortunate during that time to receive a pledge from the Friends of the Library for $650,000, which is going a long way toward the successful budgeting for the branch. So finally, in September of 2021, just a few months ago, we hired Strasser Construction, and they began work last October. So what our future holds in library services, as we start to talk about that looking forward part, if you look on your table, you'll find several handouts, and there's that you can see from the 2021 achievements, just a few of the ways that the library really does impact our community. And that's in terms of library services, through outreach services, through community access television, CATS, that we all know about. And you can see some things there that you probably didn't even know the library does. So those are just a snapshot of the ways the library touches our community now. There is also on most of your tables, there is a copy of our latest strategic plan, our 3-year plan, which describes a bit of our past and our future, the ways that we expect to move to provide services to the future, in the future. At our brick and mortar, those things that have many valuable things that transpire inside those walls. Our new branch represents one of 3 physical libraries serving our community, each of them with that are very vibrant locations, and each of them which has its own character and identity. And the Southwest branch will be our newest library destination. This is what our new branch will look like. So I'm going to describe this for you. I'm going to walk you through it so you can feel as if you're there in this virtualization. So the building itself is at 890 West Gordon Pike. It faces Gordon Pike, and which is to its south. So this is in a very densely populated area right around Bachelor Middle School. And it's a 21,000 square foot building. By way of comparison, Ellisville our branch is about 15,500, and the downtown library is 135,000. So this one is a great size for a branch library. It has, this one is a good one for what you were saying, Charlotte, earlier. Parking, there's lots of parking. If you will come in from what is the west side of this building, the driveway that goes into Bachelor Middle School will also be the entrance into this new branch. And as you drive into the property, there will be a surface lot that holds about 50 cars. And then you go a little bit further, and we took advantage of the topography. You notice how there's a slope. It's about 17 feet from the beginning, or from the first floor down to the slope in this natural line of the property. And so we're putting a garage beneath the building. And then the building itself is surrounded by trees to the north. And the east side, which is what we're looking at here on this side with a great wall of windows, which we'll look at on the east side. And then down to the bottom, where the people are gathering, there will be an amphitheater. And yeah, isn't that great? It will be an amphitheater, which is our first foray into outdoor services. We don't have the room downtown to be able to do that, nor do we have it at Ellisville, but we do here. And so we will have an amphitheater where we hope the community will enjoy music, performances, participate in other programming that's offered by the library or by the community itself. We also hope to have another story walk, and we certainly anticipate having nature trails or other things that will connect us to Bachelor Middle School. We know that they will make a path to us, so we may make one for them to encourage them to come in ways that will come into our building in great ways where they can learn about the nature force that they're going through, natural force that they're going through, or other ways that they can learn about biodiversity. So we're very enthusiastic about the outdoor space, and it really has a lot of new potential for the community, and we think it will be well utilized. So from that lower level where the amphitheater is, you can enter through an atrium, and let's go to the atrium now. You can enter to go up these stairs or through the lower level from the garage. This is also the entrance. You can also enter the building from the south side off of the surface parking lots. So you walk up these great steps where we will have nooks for study or gathering of various sizes. We anticipate that this will be a great hangout for the teens as they come over after school. We figure this will be an area that they'll really like as well. And then as you continue up the stairs, you will be land right in the entry to the building. And in that area is a service area where we will have new arrivals, displays. It will be access to our circulating collection, as well as a computer area and other spaces that are just for sitting and looking at those great windows, either at the forest behind us or just the great open area to the east. On the east side of the building where those windows are, we've identified a couple of spaces. They'll have some uniqueness to them. One of them is somewhat a space of enclosure, so it's in a room, and we'll have soft seating in it, and then we'll have another one that's more open and just open to the east side for seating, socializing. There's a conference room. There are 2 study rooms as well that are in that same area. So we anticipate that those spaces will be used by individuals or businesses and organizations, entrepreneurs. There are many people that through our feasibility study and community conversations, we learned that they had a need or a desire to have a place to meet for their organization's work. Then we have these special places, I'll call them. So this is our children's area. And I think most of you know that the library does a really good job with kids. And we anticipate, not unlike the well-used spaces that are downtown or at Ellettsville, that this will be loved by parents and kids alike. In fact, Greer and I were just in the meeting before this meeting to talk about the furniture in this space. So some of the fun stuff that we hope that we'll be able to do is we really are attempting to marry this with the environment that it's in. So there's going to be a lot of natural look inside this, trees. We're going to incorporate wood and other things in both the color scheme, as well as our signage, as well as the furniture itself. And this is one of those areas that we think we can do a great deal with that, particularly with the trees, because kids will love it in this space. We're going to drag them in and they're going to stay. So it's a great place for children to interact, really imagine and play. Then onto our teen space. Learned a lot downtown when we opened the teen space in 2015. And we took that to Ellettsville, where we learned even more. And I think we're building on those successes, and we will open a space here at the Southwest branch that will be very similar in the amenities that we offer. But we are walking steps away from middle school. And so we anticipate very high use of this space. And we also anticipate a lot of connectedness to the Bachelor Middle School teachers and curriculum. And that's yet to play out, although we've started those conversations. And we know that we're going to have a good working relationship and hope to have the kids in there every afternoon. And I think it'll be pretty energetic. And it'll have gaming spaces. There is a meeting room space in the teen area. We have one of those downtown as well, and kids use it for class presentations, prepping. They use it for analog games. It's a hangout space. It's a DIY space. It's used in many different ways, and it's not just kids coming in and sitting and looking at their phones. It really is an interactive, lifelong learning space. Then there are unique spaces in this. I talked a little bit about the identity that each of our branches will have, and the Southwest branch will have a unique identity in this new teaching kitchen. So this, as we talked with the community, we learned that there are many partner organizations that are very eager to work with us. A teaching kitchen really does serve as an innovative space for free, hands-on health and wellness learning. It's going to be open to residents of all ages, and it provides a learning lab for not only nutrition education in partnership with a variety of community organizations. So it's less traditional to a library. It's not unknown to libraries though. But it not only offers an opportunity to have cooking classes where which were actually regularly requested by the community. And in fact, the Bachelor Middle School students 371 teens were surveyed, and they selected cooking classes as their second most important thing to do at the library, just behind gaming. But if you think about it, so think what cooking does. It's basic literacy. Think of reading a recipe, understanding the vocabulary of ingredients, cooking tools, knowing the math of measurements and how to scale a recipe, studying the science of cooking and growing food, and understanding the connection between our health and food, what we eat, how we explore cultures, and the history through food. So I'm excited about this. Can I program there, please? It really does provide about education, increased food security, and provides a space for community connection and cohesion. So equipment for the teaching kitchen is made possible with grant funding of about $42,000, which we received from the Community Foundation. So we're very thankful for that as well. And another unique space that I don't have a picture of, but I want to tell you about, is an all ages collaborative space. This one will be filled with technology. It's a space for collaboration, learning, games, programming. And we anticipate that space will provide a niche that may not be served in either the adult or the teen area. And we also just expect to let that one happen a little bit. We're going to open it, have those technologies and equipment available, and watch how people make use of it. And then we will adjust as makes most sense going forward. So now I want to show you where we are. This is a time-lapse photo of the construction of the building to date. Didn't know we had that much snow, did it? And that's where we are right now. So we're currently in week 25 of a 15-month construction project. The weather set us back a few weeks at this point, but we have been very fortunate so far with supply chains, and we've ordered well in advance to mitigate waits. And after construction is complete in what we think will be late March of 2023, we anticipate a few more weeks. The library will be preparing the space for use, getting our books in, shelving, et cetera. And with all the things going well between now and then, we expect that we will be open in May of next year. So the overall cost of constructing this branch, the building, the land, et cetera, is about $11 million. And it takes about an additional $2.5 million to design the space, to furnish it, to add the collection and shelving and technology. Our total project cost is $13.7 million, and will be funded through both a $6 million construction bond and the rest of the money we had in the bank. We used about $7 million in savings, and which the library accumulated expressly for the purpose of building this new branch. So I hope those renderings give you the chills like they give me. This has really been truly a rare opportunity to be a part of, and I feel very privileged to have been part of it. So may I answer any of your questions? Yes.
What is your completion date, please?
We hope to open in about May of 2023.
Where are you going to put the books?
We do have plenty of space for books. In fact, we think we have a large in adult and also children's and teens.
Will those books be coming from the downtown library?
No, there is a collection being built expressly for the Southwest branch. Now, what I will say, however, is that we are a community library. We're Monroe County Library, and so we really encourage people to use the library's collection. So if you want a book that you don't find on the shelf downtown, Southwest, or at Ellisville, you can, and it's in our collection, we will deliver it to you at any of those locations or on the bookmobile.
I don't remember any buildings in Bloomington that didn't run into underground limestone. Is that, in fact, you haven't?
Oh, no. The question is, I don't know any buildings built in Bloomington that didn't run into limestone. Is that not the case here? We ran into limestone. Yeah, we did. In fact, it was our first, oh my. We had allocated a chunk of change for limestone and we weren't even close. And it was our first. Thank goodness we had prepared for the possibility that we would hit limestone, but we hit some significant limestone in the southwest corner of the building.
Marilyn, it's good to see those windows and, you know, how you fit the building to the land there. But I just wondered if there are any environmental-friendly features of the building that you might want to mention. Are you considering solar or anything like that?
We lighting systems and et cetera. We did not come down with either geothermal or solar due to the return on our investment, and as well as for solar, we can only regain about 25% of our total need in the estimates that we saw. So we do have, and in fact, I expected that question. So I came prepared to talk a little bit about what we have done. Certainly under building parking, as well as those things that to reduce the surface lot, that was certainly as an enviro-friendly effort to both for tree preservation and just the surface parking itself. We explored permeable pavers, but they because they were not recommended to us because the high clay content and in the soil in Monroe County and the drainage that would be required would actually have required another ground retention system that would have had to be added. Our windows, not only for natural light, but there's a glazing on them, so it can diminish any heat buildup, and it prevents some of the ultraviolet light penetration, and we have sunscreens on them as well. We have an exterior wall insulation system, so that it's insulation located on the outside as a means to improve our overall insulating factor. We have, where's the other one I wanted to see? The HVAC equipment exceeds what's required by LEED, and it's yeah. And then overall, just some of the things that we did is during our planning, of course, we were in the middle of COVID. So some of the other things that we were also looking for was to create spaces that were least touch sensitive. So most of the things that we're installing in this are are both motion and no touch. So in terms of plumbing, lighting, and other things.
Any questions online?
I wondered about the auditorium. Is there an auditorium in this space like there is downtown and meeting spaces and that sort of thing?
There's no auditorium, but we have the amphitheater outside, so there's some analogous place. So we have 2 large meeting rooms, very similar to the ones that are downtown. We have a conference space. We have 2 study rooms. Yeah, those were actually requested quite often.
Hi, thank you for this presentation. Just wondering how many new staff members you expect to be hired?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of a dozen. So I get this wonderful opportunity to make a formal.
Speak closer to the mic.
I want to formally introduce Greer Carson, the new director, as of May 7th of Monroe County Public Library.
Marilyn, thank you so much. And for those of you who didn't see, Greer was assisting on the computer today. Apologies to those of you on Zoom. For some reason, our Wi-Fi seems to be a little bit wobbly today. So you can always go back and listen to Marilyn's talk on our YouTube channel. I have to confess, I have never once looked at our YouTube channel because I don't like to see myself talking, but you can skip over me and get to Marilyn if you would like to do that. Okay, so Marilyn, in honor of your presentation today, we are going to be making a donation to the Tandem Birthing Center. Next week, our speaker will be the composer and violinist Lauren Bernofsky, who's going to be talking about the creative process and the writing of an opera. And I do believe that we're going to have a special guest performance by the person who is going to be introducing Lauren Bernofsky, who may just be the person who is our co-program chair, and her initials are CS. I wanted to say before we leave also that it's really great to see a few new faces today. Dick McKay, welcome back from Arizona. And Jim Shea, I don't know where you've been, but welcome back. With that, let's close the meeting by reciting the 4-week test +1 together. And thank you for standing. Of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? See you next week.
I thought you were going to pack the ball, so